So hi everyone, Sebas here, back in another video. So in today's video, we're going to go over the last monster for The Walking Dead. Wow, it's pretty late at night, so I'm gonna talk on a low voice tone. But with that said, it's been hard making 5 videos in a day. However, I'm proud that I made it. So with that said, this monster is pretty interesting. So you can either get him with his book, which requires you to get each Walking Dead monster, which would have made him the most expensive one, because you have to buy all of them. And also, to rank him up, you also gotta rank up all of them. So to get rank 5, you used to have to buy every monster rank 5. But luckily, they decided to put him here, so you can actually buy him like everyone else, if you precisely want him. If not, that's just, it doesn't really matter. And that being said, I think you can start and go over the monster, which I think is pretty neat, but it's not that worth getting. So, stats wise, let's start by reading the stats. He has a life stat of 152,007, which is the highest life stat in the game, which is very good. This monster is a tank, so yeah. You have a power stat of 10,912, which is not bad, but also not good. This monster is not an attacker, so you're not gonna care. You have a speed stat of 8,184, which is pretty high for a tank, but also pretty low overall. Now, what am I talking about? That's not high. I confused myself with the power stat. Doesn't even matter. Forget that. So, trait-wise, he has Survivor, which is, like every other monster. You have a rank 1 Taunt. It's pretty good. Taunt is actually not pretty, it's very good, mainly because you have, like every other monster, you can pair this monster up with any Algeria monster, which is good. Like you can get him with Michonne, which is also a Walking Dead monster, with Kenecro, Amania, Shadonia, Uriel, whoever you want that has Algeria, and this monster is gonna fully protect them, which makes him very powerful. Then rank 3 you get Mountain, immune to stun and freeze, not that needed but also pretty decent. We don't have a meta freeze monster, and we have only Teddy Bomb as a meta stun monster, so yeah. Rank 4 you get Area Nightmares, just a random DLT, and rank 5 you get Cerescaster Megataunt. So this monster's trait is very similar to Rubellus. However, the Megataunt in Rubellus is a rank 3, not a rank 5, which makes it a little more interesting, because if you want this monster only for the rank, for the taunt, you could buy him like at rank 1 and you get it anyways, so that's pretty good. With that said, let's go over this skill. The relics, for some reason, they are not there. I'm pretty sure he holds armor and some double armor, I think, but it's not in the skill sheet for some reason. Using the exclusive book, Underworld book, and Evil Legions book, so he is not in any of the useless ones. Evil Legions is good, Underworld is not. In Underworld we already have some pretty good monsters, but having an extra monster is fine. Evil Legion is full of good monsters, and exclusive is also full of good monsters, so yeah. As your basic attacks, you have Gym Teacher, which deals low dark damage to an enemy, 0 cooldown, 15 stamina, not that needed on a tank. It's all charisma, applies taunt to itself, a 30% life shield to itself, 0 cooldown, 0 stamina. It's a self taunt. If you have him a rank 0, you could use this, but you're probably not going to. Then you have Savior's Will Soul, which deals low dark damage to enemies, applies nightmares to all enemies. That's also pretty bad on a tank. Then you have Anyone's Negan, which deals moderate dark damage to all enemies. It's even worse than the last one somehow. The tier 2 skills are, you're gonna pay, deals moderate dark damage to an enemy, applies nightmares and a 40% life shield to itself. This is actually pretty good. Single damage plus the nightmares, it's actually like pretty good. Then you have I Fed Him Spaghetti, deals moderate dark damage to an enemy, applies Megataunt to itself. So you have a Megataunt skill that you can apply, and also gives Megataunt while dealing damage. So a pretty funny scenario you could have is where the enemy has skill mirror, you attack him with this skill, and you get Megataunt, but also the enemy gets Megataunt. So that could be a fun mechanic you could play around with. And then you have Strong for Suppression, which deals moderate dark damage to an enemy and applies 66 life shield to itself. a pretty high life shield. Yeah, that's good. No guts, which is more damage to one enemy applies stun to one enemy. This is good also. I appreciate this monster having stun, so a rank 0 is already pretty decent for a tank. If you already had the taunt, it would have been way better, but it doesn't unfortunately, so yeah. Rank 0 you could run, no guts, strong first impression, I fed him spaghetti and you're gonna pay for sure. These are the skills you want at rank 0, so yeah. Rank 1 you want, you are going to get 2 other skills, which are Simon's Clash, which applies stun to all enemies, applies nightmares to all enemies and blocks out 50% of incoming damage for itself. This is one hella good of a skill. Stun, it's, I mean, a denial, but it's area stun on a tank. Keep that in mind. The last time we've seen something like that was on Crawler, which actually is pretty similar to this monster. The nightmares is good, and the 50% incoming damage block is also very good. So you can deny all the monsters, you can apply nightmares, and block out damage on yourself. This is a hella good of a skill, so if you get this skill, use it. Then you get Judith Rescue, which applies 100% life shield to itself and Megaton to itself. This is also pretty good. 100% life shield is pretty good, but knowing that every monster right now can pretty much remove positive effects, it's not gonna be that good. However, then you have Alpha's Decoy, which blocks out 50% of incoming damage from itself and applies Megaton to itself. 50% block of incoming damage is better than a life shield in my opinion. It's basically the same thing as a 100% life shield, because you're like cutting the damage in half. So imagine you do Judith Rescue and then Alpha Decoy, and you have pretty much 200% life shield. That would be pretty decent. And then, last but not least, Lucille's Thirst, which deals heavy dart damage to an enemy and applies Mega Stun to an enemy. So yeah, you also have a single Mega Stun. So this monster is, by trait and skills, very similar to Rebellis. He's a tank that can apply Tortures, Stun, reapply Mega Taunt, as Taunt as a trait, Mountain, and Stratoscaster Mega Taunt, which is just very similar to Rebellis. Now I like this monster as a tank, however I don't see him being meta. Realistically at rank 2, when you have all of the skills, he shines the best at rank 2 when you have all the skills. You have the taunt and you can also apply all of your stuff, your different stuff, so you probably want to run Lucille's Thirst, Simon's Clash, you're gonna pay, and one of the Megaton skills, possibly Alpha's Decoy, which is the best. And yeah, he's a straightforward tank. There's nothing else to be said about him. He's not unique. If you want a Megaton monster, use King Atum, and if you want a Taunt monster, use Fropsy or someone else. So yeah, he's not the most ideal monster out of everyone. He gets our shine, especially considering that the meta is full of light monsters and this monster is dark. So a monster like Fropsy again or King Atum are the best options to get Taunt or Mega Taunt. With that said, I enjoy this monster a ton, but I don't think he is worth getting, especially if you have to pay for all the 5 monsters to get him. With that being said, I don't recommend buying this monster, and as our final verdict, since I'm done with this, I'm going to say which one you should buy. So if you want to buy a monster at rank 0, you should buy Daryl, which is the best one at rank 0. Michonne, you already get her, and I don't think you should buy cells for Michonne in general, because she already is good. Negan, again, don't buy him. Carol is very powerful, however, if you want to have her at least at rank 2, so this is where she shines the most with her turn transfer skill and her extra chance and stuff, so yeah, that's the best way to have Carol. So at rank 2, she's best, but it's not really that worth it. If you have to spend something, spend it on Maggie. Maggie is the best with a capital the. If you can buy a monster at rank 5 out of all of these, Maggie is going to be your first pick. If you get rank 2 plus, also Maggie is your first pick. For everything else, I think I recommend Daryl or Daryl or maybe Carol. Negan is not worth buying. Michonne, you already got her up to a very high rank. Rick, he's not overall just good, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this row of uploads that I've done, and yeah, this was a pretty high mess. I stressed out a lot, but with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.